Hello and welcome. My name is Alan, and today we'll be doing more ideas and opinions of Albert Einstein. Today we'll be finishing off the section of On Germany, which is three quick pieces, so it shouldn't take long. So let's jump into this. First piece is called Correspondence with the Bavarian Academy of Sciences. Mein Weltbild, Amsterdam, Corrido Verlag, 1834. From the Academy, Munich, April the 8th, 1933. To Professor Albert Einstein. Sir, in your letter to the Prussian Academy of Sciences, you have given the present state of affairs in Germany as the reason of your resignation. The Bavarian Academy of Sciences, which some years ago elected you a corresponding member, is also a German academy, closely allied to the Prussian and other German academies. Hence, your withdrawal from the Prussian Academy of Sciences is bound to affect your relations with our academy. We must therefore ask you how you envisage your relations with our academy after what has passed between yourself and the Prussian Academy. The president of the Bavarian Academy of Sciences. Albert Einstein's answer. Le Coq-sur-Mer, April the 21st, 1933. I have given it as the reason for my resignation from the Prussian Academy that in the present circumstances I have no wish either to be a German citizen or to remain in any position of dependence on the Prussian Ministry of Education. These reasons would not in themselves involve the severing of my relations with the Bavarian Academy. If I nevertheless desire my name to be removed from the list of members, it is for a different reason. The primary duty of an academy is to further and protect the scientific life of a country. And yet, the learned societies of Germany have, to the best of my knowledge, stood by and said nothing while a not inconsiderable proportion of German scholars and students, and also of academically trained professionals, have been deprived of all chance of getting employment or earning a living in Germany. I do not wish to belong to any society which behaves in such a manner, even if it does so under external pressure. So, Einstein, in the last video, we discussed him resigning from the Prussian Academy of Sciences, which was part of the German state. Bavaria is another region in Germany, southern Germany, I believe, because it's where Munich is. So, but yeah, they want to know how it affect them, and Einstein says, "I honestly cannot, of good conscience, stay in a country that denies others of certain rights." So, and of course, you have to remember this is the Nazi party has taken power. Hitler is becoming the head of Germany. Next piece we're going to read is called A Reply to the Invitation to Participate in a Meeting Against Anti-Semitism. The following lines are Einstein's answer to an invitation to take part in a French manifestation against anti-Semitism in Germany. Published in Mein Weltbild Amsterdam, Corrido Verlag, 1934. I have considered carefully and from every angle this most important proposal, which concerns a question that I have more closely at heart than any other. As a result, I have come to the conclusion that I must not take a personal part in this extremely important manifestation for two reasons. In the first place, I am still a German citizen, and in the second, I am a Jew. As regards to the first point, I must add that I have been active in German institutions and have always been treated with full confidence in Germany. However deeply I may regret that such horrible things are happening there, however strongly I am bound to condemn the terrible aberrations occurring with the approval of the government, it is nevertheless impossible for me to take part personally in an enterprise set underway by responsible members of a foreign government. In order that you may appreciate this fully, suppose that a French citizen in a more or less analogous situation had got up a protest against the French government's actions in conjunction with prominent German statesmen. Even if you fully admitted that the protest was amply warranted by the facts, you would still, I expect, regard the behavior of your fellow citizen as an act of disloyalty. If Zola had felt it necessary to leave France at the time of the Dreyfus case, he would still certainly not have associated himself with a protest by German official personages. However much he might have approved of their action, he would have confined himself to blushing for his countrymen. In the second place, a protest against injustice and violence is incomparably more valuable if it comes entirely from individuals who have been prompted purely by sentiments of humanity and a love of justice. This cannot be said of a man like me, a Jew who regards other Jews as his brothers. To him, an injustice done to the Jews is the same as an injustice done to himself. He must not be the judge in his own case, but wait for the judgment of impartial outsiders. These are my reasons, but I should like to add that I have always honored and admired that highly developed sense of justice, which is one of the noblest features of the French tradition. So remember, Einstein doesn't always know he's of Jewish heritage. He finds it out later. And we're at a time in Germany where Hitler has come to power, and the treatment of the Jews is already being seen. The rest of the world has no idea about the Holocaust, which I don't think they're as of yet killing the Jewish people, but they are um, enacting very anti-Semitic laws, rounding up many Jewish citizens, and so forth. Last piece we're going to read is To the Heroes of the Battle of the Warsaw Ghetto, from Bulletin of the Society of Polish Jews, New York, 1944. They fought and died as members of the Jewish nation in the struggle against organized bands of German murderers. To us, these sacrifices are a strengthening of the bond between us, the Jews of all countries. We strive to be one in suffering and in the effort to achieve a better human society. That society which our prophets have so clearly and forcibly set before us as a goal. The Germans, as an entire people, are responsible for these mass murders and must be punished as a people if there is justice in the world and if the consciousness of collective responsibility in the nations is not to perish from the earth entirely. Behind the Nazi Party stands the German people, who elected Hitler after he had in his book and in his speeches made his shameful intentions clear beyond the possibility of misunderstanding. The Germans are the only people who have not made any serious attempt of counteraction leading to the protection of the innocently persecuted. When they are entirely defeated and begin to lament over their fate, we must not let ourselves be deceived again, but keep in mind that they deliberately used the humanity of others to make preparation for their last and most grievous crime against humanity. So yeah, 1944, we're toward the end of the Second World War. And it is already out now that uh, the Holocaust has been happening. And yeah, Einstein says we must push back uh, against these evils. And those who just stood by and did nothing allowed this to happen. That's why he's saying all of Germany is responsible. He's not saying they all killed Jewish people, but he's saying that they just stood by and didn't speak up. It allowed it to happen. But yeah. So that is the end of that part. And the next part will be part 5, Contribution to Science, which is a big, big piece of the book. And it seems to be the last part of the book. Yeah, Contribution to Science. So it's a fairly good size chunk. So, but as always, educate thyself, think, read, study, learn. Someone tries to tell you something you have trouble believing, ask them to cite their sources. I'll see you all in the next video. Until then, later.